Okay. Hey, Dr. Matt and Dr. Vincent here from Performance and Wellness Chiropractic. We're going to give you some recovery options and partial warm-ups for CrossFit Open 25.1. First, we're going to start with some overhead prep. So we're going to use the band here for some shoulder distraction and the stretching. We're just going to modify or work on that overhead position. He's going to wrap his wrist, band around his wrist here, lean back, get some good traction, thoracic extension, feel the shoulder kind of open up through here. Key points we want to see is feeling the stretch through the lat, and then the bonus add is if you can add some rotation, so turning the arm up, less from the thoracic spine and more from the shoulder here. So feel that wind up right through the lat into that mid back there. You can also work through internal rotation to come here and feel that open through the front of the shoulder and back this way. The key is getting that rotation from the elbow, not so much from the wrist up through here. Second move, he's going to come out and face forward. Again here, if he wants to stagger his feet, I like to do same leg of the arm, so this leg would go back. Good, this way you can kind of turn the hips into it, open up that shoulder. Again here, the key is going to be rotation, opening up this arm this direction to feel that wind up the fascia through the front of this pec into the shoulder all the way down the arm there. This one's a really good one for that overhead position. And then the last one, working on some shoulder extension. This one we can be a little bit careful. You can get some pinchiness in the shoulder. The key in the setup, step back just a little bit, is before he walks forward into that, we're going to squeeze this shoulder blade back through here and then start to walk forward in that stretch only as long as he can keep this contraction to open up that front of the shoulder. Again, we always like to add in that rotation, so seeing if we can either peel the arm down this way or up, depending on where you feel the most tightness in that shoulder. All right, next movement, move number 2 here. We're going to do a shoulder dislocation or shoulder pass-through using a PVC, or if you're real hardcore like us, use a broomstick that doesn't flex. Hands are going to start just wider than your shoulders. You're going to start to just bring the arms overhead, reaching back to engage some of the scapula to get this stretch through the bicep and the anterior shoulder. Only go as far as you feel comfortable, and then coming back forward. The keys again, as he goes up and overhead, stop here, is going to be to reach long through those shoulders to feel this kind of open up and continue that reach back behind him to really get that good stretch. Slower is better on these. Don't try and use speed to kind of kick through that motion on the way back. Second option will be around the world. This way we're going to go up to one side. Again, same thing, reaching those arms as they come up overhead and back behind you, completing that big universal circle all the way around, and then reversing to go back the other direction. Okay. Third movement for the day, we're going to start to open up the hips. So we're going to use a banded distraction hip stretch here. Dr. Vince is going to step through this orange band. Band height should be just slightly below hip level. He's going to face forward. The band's going to go right through his hip crease, right around the hip flexors. If you're looking for a spot, find the hip bone here, and just below there's a little groove. That's where the band's going to go. He's going to step forward. Left banded leg is going to go forward. He's going to hinge forward, letting the band pull his hips backwards so he finds a good stretch in the hamstring. From here, we're going to incorporate a little bit of some fascial flossing, nerve flossing. He's going to straighten that leg to tolerance. You're going to feel a stretch intensify from the hamstring almost all the way down to the feet and up to the glute. You can kind of scour through this a little bit. And then when you find a sticky spot or some tension spot, as he straightens that leg, he can hold it and start to kind of turn, twist his leg with his hands. He can manipulate his pelvis back and forth and kind of move to those directions to kind of loosen that up. Then the bonus of this one is to come out of the stretch. We're going to get some glute activation and some hip extension. He's going to use the band as a cue, squeezing his glute to upright himself to feel this tension through here and perform a couple reps to kind of get those hips firing and those glutes activated. Last and final movement here. We're going to work on an active lunge, active hip flexor stretch. So down in the lunge position, key points here. We're going to have the toes tucked underneath us, pressure through the toes, tension through the toes, and he's going to squeeze his glute as hard as he can. As he does that, he's going to start to feel a stretch in the front of that right hip. Once this glute is tight, and only as long as this glute stays tight, he's going to start to lean forward. We don't want to lean forward to where we can't keep the tension in the hip here. So this is the key. This needs to stay engaged right here. He's going to feel that big stretch. He can then start to kind of play with this position. He can lean to the left, lean to the right, twist left, twist right, even play with bringing the arms overhead. Basically, wherever the most tension he finds, he's going to kind of hang out and play with those positions right there. And then as we come out of this position, keeping the tension through the toes and the hip, he's going to transition into his next step or lunge. He's going to come up slowly and then transition into the next step and then repeat on the other side.